Hello everyone and welcome back to my kitchen. Today we're making tamales made with poblano peppers and Oaxaca cheese. We're going to start out by soaking the corn husks in hot water. This is going to make the corn husks more pliable and easier to fold. Press down on the corn husks to make sure they're completely submerged in the water. If the water is too hot, place a heavy object over the corn husks. We're going to roast the poblano peppers in the oven, and for that we're going to need a cookie sheet lined with aluminum foil. You can also roast them on a pan, over an open flame, or on the grill. Arrange your poblano peppers on the cookie sheet and broil them on high for 15 minutes. After 7 or 8 minutes, turn the peppers over. Once they're nice and blistered on both sides, remove them from the oven and let them cool down before you begin to peel them. While our peppers are cooling down, we're going to prepare the rest of the ingredients. We're going to need about 10 jalapenos. If you want to make them extra spicy, you can substitute the jalapenos for serrano peppers, or you can do a combination of both. Trim off the stem, cut them in half, and remove the seeds and the vines from each of the peppers. Once you're done cleaning your peppers, cut them into strips. I like to add onion to mine, so I'm also going to add 1 large onion. Trim off both ends of the onion, remove the first 2 layers, cut it in half, and slice it into half-moon slices. Now that the poblano peppers have completely cooled down, we're going to remove the skin, remove the stems, and the seeds and the vines from each of the peppers. Slice your poblano peppers into strips similar to the jalapenos. In a medium pan, heat up a couple tablespoons of vegetable oil over medium-high heat. Once the oil is nice and hot, add in the onion and the jalapenos. Move them around to separate the onion, then season with salt and pepper to your liking. I used about half a teaspoon of each. Add 2 minced garlic cloves or 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. Give it a good mix and cook for about 10 to 12 minutes or until the onions are nice and translucent. During the process, you want to give it frequent movement so everything can cook evenly. Once they look like this, add in the poblano peppers. Mix it in and cook for another 5 minutes with the poblano peppers. After 5 minutes, add 1 cup of Los Altos Crema Centro Americana and 1.5 cups of shredded Los Altos Oaxaca cheese. Mix it in until the cheese is nice and melted. Remove it from the burner, cover it, and set aside while we prepare the masa. To prepare the masa, I'm going to use my stand-up mixer, but you can also use a handheld mixer or do it by hand. Add 1.5 cups of vegetable shortening to the mixing bowl. Mix on high for a good 7 to 10 minutes or until the shortening is nice and fluffy. You can also substitute the shortening with manteca. Once the shortening is nice and fluffy and creamy and it looks like this, add 2 tablespoons of baking powder. Mix for another 2 minutes, then add 2 cups of corn flour. I'm using Manteca, but you can use whichever brand you prefer. Mix until the first 2 cups of Manteca are well combined with the vegetable shortening. Add in 2 more cups of Manteca or corn flour and 1 cup of cornmeal. Add 1 tablespoon of salt or chicken bouillon. Turn the mixer back on, and as you're mixing, slowly add in your chicken broth. The amount of salt or chicken bouillon you use for your masa could vary depending on the type of chicken broth that you're using. If your chicken broth is salted, you may need more or less depending on your liking. Start out with a small amount of salt and work your way up until it reaches your desired taste. Continue mixing until your masa is nice and fluffy. With the amount of masa and cornmeal we used a total of 5 cups of chicken broth. This process should take anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes depending on the type of mixer you're using. The best way to check to see if your masa is ready is by taking a small amount of masa and dropping it into a glass of water. If it floats to the top, that means your masa is ready. To assemble the tamal, add about 2 to 3 tablespoons of masa to the husk and spread it over the bottom portion of the husk. Add a spoonful of the Poblano peppers right in the middle. Add a couple strips of Los Altos queso Oaxaca or queso fresco. Fold it close and fold over the narrow end of the husk towards the center and place it on a cookie sheet. Continue with the rest until they're all done. We're going to cook the tamales in the pressure cooker. Place the basket attachment inside the pressure cooker and add 2 cups of water. Line the bottom of the basket with corn husks and begin to arrange the tamales in a stand-up position, starting with the outer edge and working your way in towards the middle. The pressure cooker we're using today is also an air fryer. I provided a link in the description of this video so you can purchase yours as well. You can also find the link to Los Altos Foods. Use their store locator to see which stores in your area carry their delicious cheese. Program the pressure cooker on steam for 45 minutes. Make sure the valve is pointing to ceiling. The cooking timer may not start right away. Once the pressure cooker has built enough pressure, the cooking time will begin. Before removing the lid, switch the valve to venting to release the pressure in the pressure cooker. Remove the tamales from the pressure cooker and let them cool down for at least 10 minutes before serving. Enjoy them like this, or you can also top them off with more cheese, sour cream, and a salsa of your choice. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in our next video with a different recipe.